Hey folks, this is Scott at the X-Fed Homestead. So I'm standing in the garden here next to the sweet potatoes, and it's late fall, and so now I have to get these potatoes out of the ground. And I'm a little nervous because every year I've had some issues with sweet potatoes for the last couple of years I've been growing them. I've gotten them in late, they haven't had a chance to grow that well. I've had voles eat most of them last year, so I'm really hopeful for this year, for this crop of sweet potatoes. I've got a nice full bed of sweet potatoes here, and I'm just hopeful that they're going to come out well. So that's the plan today. So let's get to work and dig them up. Well, the sun's going in and out of the clouds as we work here, but I just started to pull away the tremendous amount of vegetation that we have when we grow sweet potatoes. These vines, I just pulled one out. It's like 12 feet long. It's unbelievable. So I have to pull these away so I can work, and then I'll dig through and see if I can find some sweet potatoes, but I think I'm lucky. Right away, I hit the lottery and I see one that's just under the surface. I'd like to zoom in, but I'm too impatient. I want to pick this one. So let me see. So there's a beautiful sweet potato, but once again, let me show you here. Just a great sweet potato that my friends the voles have eaten. And this is like 10, 11 inches long. It is beautiful. And it looks like it got real ripe and they took advantage of it. So I'm not holding out a lot of hope, but we'll keep at it and hopefully we'll get some sweet potatoes out of this crop. So I'm gonna start according to plan here and just dig up the beds and see if I can find anything. Oh my goodness. I broke this one in half, so that was maybe about a foot long. Here's a small one, which is good. And I'm gonna throw them on the bed next door here. I'm learning a little more every year. Maybe I got to get them in a little earlier. Maybe I got to try some different varieties. But every year, I don't lose. I just keep learning. That's the thing about gardening. Here we go. Look at that. Huh? That's pretty good. It's still long and thin. It could be a lot thicker, but that's a nice sweet potato. I can definitely make a meal out of that. Well, we're about halfway through, and it's not too bad. These sweet potatoes that I'm getting should last us for a while. And I'm pretty pleased. Sure, the voles have gnawed on quite a few of them, but there are plenty of them that are thick enough for a meal and not too stringy and look pretty well developed with good skin. So I'm pretty happy with what we're getting so far. I'm only halfway through the bed, so let's see what we keep getting here. I'm doing better picking with my fingers than I am with the fork. I feel like not many are getting by me if I use my fingers. And just like a kid, it's kind of fun that way too. Look at that. Well, it seems that I've gotten a different kind of sweet potato here, and I recall it's been so long since this spring that I planted a Japanese sweet potato, and I think this is it. I've scratched a couple of the skins here since they're not cured, and there's a whitish sweet potato flesh in there. So that is definitely, I think, the Japanese potato, and that other one was the more traditional orangey Beauregard potato. So that's the difference that we have there. Here, let me show you this. Here's a good sized potato right there. But here you can see the whitish flesh that's inside the Japanese potato versus the orange flesh for the Beauregard potato. So that's what we got going now the rest of the way down the row. Well, that's great. The last two potatoes are perfect. Those are real nice. I'll put those with the rest of them. So the rest of this bed, the last 5 feet, that was for the fingerling potatoes that were volunteers earlier. But this is great. So I have about 25 feet of potatoes. And let me show you what we got. I think you can see here, this is one of 2 piles of Japanese sweet potatoes. And I'll show you all the Beauregards over there next. And this is so much more than I got last year. For me, this is a great crop. You can see over here on the right are the ones that the mice ate. You can see some big gouges out of those. And those are the fattest, juiciest sweet potatoes I grew. So I'm gonna have to work on a game plan for next year. But look at these. That is a great crop for me. I'm very happy with this. Well, folks, the sun's going down, and I've had a pretty good sweet potato harvest here. And I'm really pleased with this year. Now, the voles got to some of the sweet potatoes. I expected that. But like I said, I don't lose if I learn. So I think next year, judging from the way the Japanese sweet potatoes seem to grow, I'm gonna have to double dig down into the bed a little bit more, I think, to accommodate them. And I'm going to try to get them in a little bit earlier next year. Maybe I'll cover them up at the beginning of the spring so they stay warm. But this is plenty for us. And we may go through the sweet potatoes this winter, but I don't think so. For two of us, that's just plenty. So I'm very, very pleased with that. I hope you had some fun like I did digging these up and seeing what happens when you dig them up. Sometimes the voles eat them, sometimes you get a nice one. So that's a great feeling when you get some good produce out of your garden. And these root vegetables will last down in the cellar, in the root cellar, as I like to call it. Maybe I'll get to build one of those someday, but they'll last for a while, all through the winter and spring, that's for sure. Anyhow, thanks for watching these videos. I really appreciate the comments that people give, and I just greatly enjoy making these videos for everyone. So keep watching and I'll keep making them. And if you leave some comments, like and subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. This is Scott at the XFed Homestead. We'll see you next time.